Welcome back to the program Integrity Watch. This is your hour-long radio program aired every Wednesday here on Truth FM 96.1, and this show is also aired on ECOWAS Radio 91.5. This show runs from 11 a.m. to 12 noon. It's the primary radio-based communication and information dissemination platform of Cental. It's also the key advocacy tool that provides essential information about the state of the fight against corruption and national integrity building efforts, as well as it promotes the culture of accountability, transparency, integrity, and evidence-based decision-making across all sectors and institutions in Liberia. Cental and its partner, which is the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency, has signed an extended partnership agreement to continue the national integrity building and anti-corruption program. And the program will continue up until the end of 2026, which means that Cental's partner, which is CEDA, has explicit confidence in the work Cental is doing in the areas of promoting transparency, accountability, and ensuring that the government and the people of Liberia deal with integrity. Their dealings are done with high level of integrity, and the fight against corruption is advanced. And so, under the National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program, Cental um, is running series of programs and activities. So, the NIMA program is a very big program, and under that program, there are line of activities, that Cental is doing. And these activities come together to make the National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program, one of which is the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center. That center is an independent platform that enables citizens to freely report and seek redress to corruption and other integrity-related issues within their communities, their counties, and the country at large. If you are in a space, you're working in an organization, or you're working with government, or wherever you are, if you spot any act of corruption and you experience any act of corruption, or maybe you are a victim of an act of corruption, Cental has a platform that is called the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center that you could utilize to report any incident of corruption. It's free of charge. We have a toll-free hotline that you could call and report any act of corruption. It's 4432. We have paid for for that service. It's free for Lone Star subscribers. It's also free for Orange subscribers. And we've had instances where people have reported, a lot of people have reported acts of corruption, whether it is bribery. Some people report, oh, I was at this point and I was, police was a police officer was asking me for a bribe, and I was trying to seek a service or visit this other place, and then I realized that somebody wanted me to give them money before they can provide a service, whereas the service is free. All of those incidences, all those cases have been reported to Cental, and what we do with those cases, we refer them to the relevant authority. So at Cental, we are not the ones that prosecute corruption cases. What we do is when we receive the case or those cases, we have a team of professionals. They include lawyers, and they will receive the case, review it, and advise. If that case needs, for example, mediation, we provide mediation support. So we'll go into the community, for example, community will ask and say, oh, our community chairman took our money, the community money, and we've now received report. We don't know how it was expanded. Cental, through the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center, in most of the cases, will go in the community and mediate, and sometimes payment plans are made, and those monies are refunded to the centers. And when it is a case of, when it's a case of very big corruption scandal, we refer that case to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission. We're working in partnership with LACC to ensure that when we have, grand corruption case reported, or we have other corruption cases reported, we refer those cases to the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, and they have the legal authority to prosecute cases of corruption. And we also provide legal advice. There are people who, yeah, they may not have core corruption related cases or issues, but they have issues of bad labor practices. For example, somebody's trying to infringe on their rights and they don't have access to lawyers, they don't have money to pay for legal fees of lawyers. They just reach out to Cental's ELAC, calling 4432. The lawyers are there to provide legal advice for them free of charge. Some people have had land dispute issues, and they've reached out to Cental's Advocacy and Legal Advice Center, and they were giving legal advice free of charge. And many of them are happy. We have stories of success from a lot of people who've come to our office and say, thank you, you intervened on my behalf, and today I have my land. Today my status, my employment status has changed, and so many things, so many other success stories, so many other people have come, countless of them have, talked about how Cental's Advocacy and Legal Advice Center has helped them. So in case you're out there, you want to participate, you want to, seek legal advice, or you want to report acts of corruption, you could call us on 4432. It's free of charge. 4432. You call now and report acts of corruption. You will be protected. Your identity will be protected. One of the core mandate of the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center is the issue of confidentiality. We make sure that whoever is reporting any act of corruption is protected. One of the best ways to fight corruption anywhere in the world is to have citizens participate, and that is through whistleblowing. If you see the act, you go and blow the whistle. All around the world, all of the anti-corruption institutions around the world, all of the countries that are doing well in the fight against corruption, all of those countries have mechanisms, have systems into place that allow citizens to report, because that's the best way to achieve in the fight against corruption anywhere in the world. And to do that, to have citizens have the kind of confidence to report corruption, you have to protect them. Nobody wants to report, and then the next day their name is all over the place, and everybody knows that they are the one, or this is a man or woman that reported the act of corruption, blah, blah, blah. So what we do, we protect your identity. Because if we protect your identity, then more people will be encouraged to report. Even at ELAC, there is a huge or high level of confidentiality, or, care that is taken, in terms of who access those files, those case files. Even me as an employee of Cental, I don't have access to cases that go to ELAC. I don't even know, I don't have access to those files. They are kept confidentially. Those information are very critical to Cental's work and the work of ELAC. So that tells you how we are very keen on confidentiality. That's why if you report an act of corruption, if you call Cental, we ask you, do you want to disclose your identity? In fact, we're not even compelling you to call your name. You just call and give the details. Oh, this area, this thing is happening. These are the people involved. And you give the picture to the lawyer, and the lawyer will take it up from there. So you don't have to call your name. If you want to call your name, well, you can go ahead. If you want to, you want your identity to be disclosed, we advise that you don't do that. But if you want it to be done, well, we can look at that. But the point is, Cental ensures that whatever or whoever is reporting is kept confidential. So you could also reach out to us through email. It's at ilac@cental.org.lr. Again, it's ilac, which is ALAC at cental.org.lr. You could visit us on Facebook. There's a Facebook page for ilac. It's Cental ilac, which is CENTALAC, Cental ilac. And you can engage with ilac via this medium, by maybe using this medium to send a message or through messenger to ilac, and the team at ilac will receive your message and act appropriately. Better still, you could send a text message, be a WhatsApp or direct text message to 0555 722 113. Again, it's 0555 722 113. That's the number to send a text. And when you send a text via this number, Cental ilac, the team will receive your message and they will act appropriately. So that's for ilac. You can take advantage of it or take advantage of ilac, report acts of corruption, call 4432, and let Cental take on that particular matter, refer that matter to the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission, and have that matter resolved. Good thing is that the Liberian Anti-Corruption Commission now has the power to prosecute. Unlike before, when you report a case or when we refer a case of corruption to LACC, they will refer that case after their investigation to the Ministry of Justice for prosecution. And sometimes, it takes longer time. Cases are stalled, piled on the dockets of the courts, and the Ministry of Justice is dealing with a lot of other issues. And sometimes those issues of corruption are delayed, the investigations and the prosecutions are delayed. But now the LACC has the power to prosecute, direct prosecutorial power. So this is one of the best times that you will ever have in the history of Liberia to report acts of corruption or to report cases of corruption, because now there's no excuse. The LACC now has the power to go directly to the court and prosecute cases of corruption. So you can take advantage of that. Report corruption. That's the only way we can help, end this culture of corruption. We cannot help to end corruption by sitting idle, by just looking at the people and say, let's see what they will do. You have to participate. As a citizen of Liberia, if you know corruption is hurting you, if you know corruption is affecting you, if you know it's because of corruption that you don't have medications in the hospitals, if you know it's because of corruption you don't have chairs in the schools, and you know it's because of corruption, there are a lot of things that are not right in the country, we don't have roads, then you have to take action. You have to take action, and that action is to report corruption. That's the best you can do as a citizen. And leave the rest with Cental and the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, because we're going to be on the backs of the LACC to ensure that those cases that we refer to them are looked into. On top of that, we are also running the Integrity Club Outreach Program. And that program is working with students in 4 universities. So we have Integrity Club established at the University of Liberia. If you're a student of the University of Liberia, you can go to the administrative building and check the bulletin board, and you will see information about the Integrity Club, how to join. There's a leadership in place. There are periodic meetings held. Students are trained, their capacities are built, they are, being encouraged to get involved in the area of anti-corruption awareness. They're going in your classrooms, they're talking to their peers, they're encouraging them to deal with integrity, and they are, preaching the messages of anti-corruption and the need to have integrity all across their peers in the various classrooms. And not just that, they are going into their communities and they are becoming ambassadors of anti-corruption. And the same is happening at the African Methodist Episcopal University. The same is happening at the United Methodist University. The same is happening at the Stella Maris Polytechnic University. If you are a student of any of those universities, you have the opportunity to go and join the Integrity Club. The information are always available on the bulletin boards at the administrative buildings of the universities. You can call and reach out and avail yourself to join. That's one way Cental believes that we can succeed in the fight against corruption. If we have young people who are trained, who are capacitated, and who are, indoctrinated with integrity-related behaviors, beliefs, we believe that when those young people have graduated, and when they get into the larger society and they begin to contribute to developing their country, and some of them become ministers tomorrow, or become director, or become whoever they can, they will carry with them those tenets of integrity. Because we do periodic trainings, we get involved in our research, we get involved with other things that we're doing, all in the spirit of the fight against corruption. That is what Cental intends to do through the Integrity Club Outreach Program. And we also have our Open Expenditure Initiative. The Open Expenditure Initiative is an initiative that works with county officials, including the county leaders or leadership of the counties, and also the legislators. We're working to ensure that there is, inclusivity and there is transparency in the expenditure of public funds, especially the county social development funds. So those counties that are allotted fundings for county social development, we are working with them through our Open Expenditure Initiative to ensure that, decisions around what those funds will be used for are inclusive. That one lawmaker will not sit wherever he sits to decide what will be done with the funds. That decisions around what those funds will be utilized for are inclusive decisions. That the young people are part of it, that the women groups or women organizations or whoever they are in the counties are part of it, that the disabled community is part of it, that the religious community is a part of it, that everyone's voice is heard through their representatives on what is to be done or what is done with funds allocated for county social development purposes. So we have periodic forums. We call that the Open Expenditure Forum, where we conglomerate those people. We ensure that their voices are heard. And we don't just stop there. Through our Open Expenditure Initiative, we ensure that we conduct periodic visits at the sites of those projects. So, for example, if it's a hand pump project, or it's a clinic project, or it's whatever the project may be, it's a guest house project, we ensure that there are periodic visits done on those projects to monitor the implementation and to also see as to whether those projects meet the value for money threshold. So if 100,000 were allotted for this project, we want to ensure through our monitoring visits that that project actually meets the value for money threshold, and that the money that was allotted and the value of the structure that is there is actually corroborating. Even though we are not, construction experts, but we can look and see and determine, by consulting experts, And by looking at, what is on the ground, just by looking at it, we can determine and say, well, maybe this is well within this range, or maybe this is, well, we're very, very far off, is way below the actual cost that was, presented. So yes, that's what we are doing through our open expenditure initiative. We also have our state of corruption report that we release annually. We've just released the 2023, we released it in December. The 2023 state of corruption report is released every year, at the end of every year. And that report, gauges the opinions of citizens and other stakeholders. We do desk reviews. We deploy people, enumerators out there in selected counties. They ask questions. They, bring those questions together and tabulate the results. And is done both qualitatively and quantitatively. So also we have desk reviews, and all of those information are collated and they are put together, and when they are collated, the result is the one that is presented in the state of corruption report. And when you go now to our website, www.cental.org.lr, you will find the full report. State of corruption report is a voluminous report where we have the key findings at the top. You can read the key findings and see where corruption is pervasive, where corruption is high and where it is low, which sector is more prone to corruption, and all of those information is available in our state of corruption report. We also have our National Integrity Forum outreach and engagement activity, through which we work with governments, anti-graft institutions to promote transparency in their work. We ensure that we work with the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, the General Auditing Commission, the Public Procurement and Concession Commission, the Governance Commission, the Internal Audit Agency, the General Auditing Commission. You just think about the National Elections Commission. Think about anti-graft institution or integrity institution. We work with all of them through our National Integrity Forum to ensure that they are taking the lead. We are not in the lead. We are supporting them. We're providing the support funding through our partner, CEDA. We're supporting those integrity institutions to ensure that there is transparency in government service delivery. So we are sitting as a coordinator and we are working with those institutions to work and ensure that there's transparency within government, even though they are already government institutions. So that's one way Cental is ensuring that its partnership with the government is enhanced through the National Integrity Forum. So now if we go at the Ministry of Internal Affairs, there is a bulletin board that was erected under the auspices of this same National Integrity Forum. We provided the funding, we provided the support, and those bulletin boards are erected at the entry of the Ministry of Internal Affairs to ensure that if somebody goes for a service, they should have information on what is it that they are supposed to pay for that service. For example, the Ministry of Internal Affairs provides a lot of services, including marriage certificates, traditional marriage certificates, and others. So if you want a marriage certificate from the Ministry of Internal Affairs, you may want to know how much you're supposed to pay so that somebody cannot extort money from you or cannot overcharge you. So that's why we have the bulletin board. If you go there, you find it there, you know how much you're supposed to pay, the approved price. And when you have that information, you have the power to go and demand that service and pay the required fees. And nobody's going to tell you, pay this extra, because you know what is on the bulletin board. That's the approved price. And that bulletin board was erected on the auspices of the National Integrity Forum, which is supported by Cental. We also have similar thing at the Liberia Business Registry. We have similar thing going on. We have similar billboards erected at the Bureau of Vital Statistics. We have similar at the NASCOP, National Social Security. and Welfare Corporation. We have similar at the Ministry of Transport, and there are plans to extend to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and other agencies of government. Our plan is to ensure that every government institution that provides service or services to the public will have a bulletin board with all of those fees on it, so that when you are going to access those services or those services, you can have power, because information is power. You can have the information and have the power to demand those services. And the likelihood of somebody taking more money from you because you don't have the information is reduced. That is what we want to achieve. So that is that. We will stop here. We will announce that we have our guest is Randall McCall. Randall McCall works with Cental, and he's coordinating one of our very essential project that we run, which is the civil society activity. And that project is supported by the United States Agency for International Development, which is USAID. Randall is the lead on that project, and that project is also being coordinated by the Development Alternative Incorporated, or DAR, and Cental is one of those sub-grantees. He's going to tell us more about what they're doing, what the project is all about, and what they've been able to achieve, what are their objectives, and what they are doing, what are their plans, and all of those. He's going to tell us very shortly. He's trying to adjust, and yes. So we'll take a short break and allow Randall McCall to adjust, and then we will kickstart the program. Let's take this break.
Corruption. I say corruption is a serious problem in Nigeria.
What happened in matter?
You don't see how our country looking. Everybody just fighting for themselves. Community leaders, religious leaders, government people, teachers, students, taxi drivers, motorcyclists, and even in our homes. Corruption just all over the place. Everybody just inside this corruption business.
But what do all these other people then get to do inside this corruption business again? And that the government people then inside this corruption thing, they just stealing our money.
No, affair. That not only government people can do corruption. When a teacher takes money from the students for grade, that corruption. When I take our full money and face my hand fine, and then say they steal it from me, that corruption. When the religious leaders take things that's supposed to benefit their members and give it to their families and friends, that corruption. When the community leaders eat the community money, that corruption. So that not only our government, big people, all of us inside.
Oh, so when I take my pay and not tell my wife about all the money I got, but just give her small and use the rest to do my thing there, that corruption too.
That is the affair. No transparency.
But what you would do to deal with this corruption business in Liberia now, the way everybody inside is so, I think we would just live with it and accept the results until judgment day, because nobody to help us deal with this thing. I don't even know what we can do, sir.
Don't worry, Alfred. I heard that the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, Cental, with support from the people of Sweden, do see that it's happy to deal with the corruption business.
Like how now?
Cental says all of us, civil society groups and citizens, should join hands and work together to fight corruption. Reporting anything about corruption in our homes, workplaces, communities, counties, and the country. The people say we must work together to demand for and take actions against corruption in Liberia by reporting to their advocacy and legal advice center. Allah, the people get lawyers there to listen to you, and they will tell you what to do.
True?
Yes, so you can report by calling 4432 for those who get loan star numbers and are free of charge. And for those who don't get loan star number, but you get different company number, you can call 0555 722 113. It's also free of charge. You can also send text message or go to Cental's offices on 22nd Street opposite JFK Hospital on top of Lucky Pharmacy.
At least I know now where to report corruption. Let's join the fight against corruption and make Liberia a corruption-free nation where citizens act with transparency and integrity in all their dealings.
Welcome back to the program Integrity Watch, and this is your 1 hour radio program that is produced by Cental's communication section. And we are here today with one of our distinguished staff at Cental, is Randall McCall. Randall is a lead person on the USAID funded Civil Society Activity Program, and will be telling us more about what the program is all about. Welcome, Randall.
Thank you so much, Ben. Edward Blamo, thank you so much for um, the invite. I take it as an opportunity to elaborate on the Civil Society Activity Project that's directly funded by DER, the Development Opportunity Incorporated, funded from USAID.
Thank you. So tell us, somebody listening may not know much about what the USAID funded CSA project is all about. Can you give us a brief summary of what it's all about?
Yeah, the project is basically about improving about policy advocacy, improving service delivery across 6 counties in Liberia. We're in year 3 of the project.
Okay.
We've done a number of activities across those counties. We started from geopool survey that was conducted, and 2 thematic windows came about. That's health and education, and Central is leading on the education aspect, while Nemo is leading on the health aspect. We also did subnational consultation that informed decision around key program areas
Okay.
that we are implementing, and that was also done in year 2. In year 3, we are focusing on more engagement with civil society organizations. We have about 9 civil society on education and another 9 on our health, and there are a number of other groups that are receiving grants from DAR that we're working along with. And there are also subject matter experts being hired by DAR that provide um, long-term mentorship and support to civil society organizations.
Hmm.
So the project is a wide project. It's a really huge project that connecting all the dots to ensure that civil society are empowered to deliver it and to ensure that service deliveries are improved in our country.
So, your specific or mandate as part of this project is to, it's the education side. And
Yeah.
what are you doing in terms of education? What specific thing Central is doing through partnership with those civil society organizations?
We've done a lot of, we established coalitions,
Okay.
on our education coalition. We've been able to empower all the different CSO, grantees that honor us. We build capacity for them. Right now, we strengthen them to embark on advocacy engagement exercises, and they are on their different, RFA.
Okay.
So this is basically what they are doing now. And currently, we focus on providing more support to them, as well as doing more research and providing information that will be able to empower them to carry on their work. As part of our research, we're going to be looking at alternative source of resource mobilization to support the government, finding other avenues through which they can source funding for education.
Okay.
And that research is to kick up very soon. Let's say thank you particularly to um, the government of Liberia on a new budget.
Okay.
They have been some increment from 98 to 105. That's about 7 million increment. I think that is laudable because we advocated for 20% increment as per global standard. So if the government is taking that step, I think, especially with a much lesser budget compared to 2023 budget.
Okay.
Okay, because 2023 was in like 700 million and they are in 600, but they still may increment to education. I think that's a good start of the government. We must commend the government and we look forward to more increment in subsequent years.
So what I mean, you've been around asking, doing research, and analysis of education sector. What are the issues? What are the major issues that you've unearthed through your monitoring and whatever you've done?
Schools across Liberia are challenged.
Okay.
You have poor infrastructure. You have many of the teachers now on payroll. You have volunteer teachers. You have dilapidated classrooms. You have the challenges are enormous, right,
Okay.
across the country, and much of what that goes to education goes to what salary. We want to see more into how we can make the school environment more conducive. We want to make it more accessible. We want to show equity and quality. So that's our focus. It's not
Okay.
just about the salary aspect. The salary is important, but we also want to make sure that our children are getting the needed education that they need to advance themselves and to to be people of good value in society. Because what you learn today is going to impact you, is what you're going to use, you're going to contribute to society, it's going to live with you for the rest of your life. So we are more particular about the material that go in the classroom. We're talking about the services, we're talking about the classroom, how conducive the classroom, school materials, we're talking about the environment in which they learn, all of that. And we're talking about more access for both girls and boys, underprivileged people.
Okay. So I mean, one of those major issues, have been one of the major issues confronting the education sector has always been the PTA's ability to collaborate more with the school administrators to see how they can improve on some of those services that they provide. They're a very key part of the school running
Mhm.
because they have students or children there and they play a very key role. How have your engagements, cover PTAs as well?
Of
Yeah.
course, we work with PTA. PTA structures, we've seen PTA structures around, but the issue of them being functional and very proactive has been a problem.
Okay.
So, although one of our RFAs, some CSO, basically focusing on PTA, all right, to strengthen them, to restructure, help strengthen them, help them know their roles and function because in the past, most of them have just been used as source of funding for schools when their needs. Uh, Parents are being asked to pay for running of tests. Parents are being asked for Gallaudet fees, the other fees. But we want to see them participating in decision making within the school,
Okay.
monitoring of the school, their children and lessons and all of that. So this is more than just being asked to pay. So
Okay.
that we're looking at there's whole component of that PTA structure, looking how to help them, empower them, know their roles, know their function, and work with schools to improve the running of the school system.
Okay, you're listening to Integrity Watch, and this is your hour-long radio program that is produced by Cental's communication session. And today we have as our guest Mr. Randall McCall. Randall is the program lead for the Civil Society Activity Project at Centar. That Centar is a sub grantee and Development Alternative Incorporated. DER is leading this initiative with funding from the United States Agency for International Development, and is here telling us some of the things they've been doing and their engagements and their activities at this in the implementation of this program. And in case you're out there, you want to participate, you can call 0 770 436 728 is 0770 436 728 or 086 192365 086 080 sorry 192365 or 0770 436 728. Once you call any of those numbers read, you are going to have the opportunity to talk here and make your point known. Right? What are your activities that you've planned going forward before the end of the next project year? What are some of the things you've planned?
We got lots of activities to implement. Like I told you, on top of our list is the research. We try to source to identify other avenues through which government can raise additional funding
Okay.
to support education. That is key. And we
And
also
how are you going to do that? Are you going to, that's a very huge tax. How are you going to achieve that?
we're going to contract the service of a consultant
Okay.
that will lead on that process. And because we have other responsibilities, so the consultant will exclusively focus on that, and that is already in process. All right, and apart because that research is very key. We see that our budget envelope is low, is
Okay.
small. We cannot cover for all of the different expenditure that government got. So we think sourcing other avenues of funding would be key to support the government of Liberia achieve the 20% and global benchmark to fund education. And I think, like I said from the beginning, with the 7% increment there, will in reduction of the budget, despite reduction in the budget, I think it's laudable. We want to commend that. Is if you look at that in percentage, is around 15%.
Okay.
All right. So I mean, the target now is focusing on the next 5% to be able to reach the 20% increment.
Are you engaging with government,
Of
for
course,
example?
we engage with government. We also have to do budget advocacy. We
Okay.
engage with all of the stakeholders, Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Development, and all of the other key partners that are key to education sector.
How many groups or civil society organizations that you're providing funding for through this initiative? Because what I understand is that you are a sub grantee, you are giving financial support to civil society organizations to advocate on education. How many of them have you supported?
We are working with them. We are not giving them
Oh, you're working
the
with them.
resources. It is
Okay.
DAR that funding them,
Funding them.
but they are on us as grantees. We
Okay.
are subcontracted to DAR
Okay.
managing
Those funds.
those
Okay.
grantees.
Okay,
Right?
managing those grantees.
Yeah, working with those grantees, right? Supervising activities to ensure that they implement them according to the RFA that
Yeah, what is the
assigned.
RFA?
That's it's more on it's a financial term, by the
Yeah,
way.
okay.
They call it request for application, but it's a
Okay.
cool name. This
Okay.
RFA and labor, they got
No,
PTA.
you don't have to go into the details.
Yeah, we got PTA.
Mhm.
We got different policy advocacy looking at the education reform. I looking at the land rights act, all the different laws that are important in terms of service delivery, the local government act, all of that.
So let's take this call. Oh, I think this call was aborted. And yes, so go ahead.
Yeah. So all the different components are adding up to ensure that there is indeed, improved service delivery. They ensure that we do policy advocacy to claim government attention. I think government, with the current increment, we think government listening.
Mhm.
The government, and we hope that in subsequent year they're going to make additional increment. But we also trying to do this research to provide, they are using best practices in other areas, Africa and other parts of the world that government can also utilize to source other funding
Okay,
for
so
education.
Okay, so if you're listening and you want to participate, the number again is 0770-436-728. Again, is 0770-436-728. You can call and participate. On this program, we are hosting Randall McCall. Randall is the program lead for our civil society activity project, which is funded by the government and people of the United States of America through USAID and the Development Alternative Incorporated, which is DAR, is a key part of that. And let's see what this is meant for us. Hello.
Good morning, this is Jay Gabriel Logan.
Let's hear you.
Calling from Cutting Free, Alabama.
Let's hear you.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to the studio guests. And my input to what we are discussing is that when it comes to the school system, more especially from River Sales Moway, district number 1 of River Sales, I just came from there a week ago now. The school system there is not effective at all.
Okay.
I'm one of those who are part of the 3 volunteer teachers there. From September up to just now, I have not received a dime, but neither anybody ever visited a school to know the enrollment, to know who is who, except for the one government teacher who is the principal. But the 3 of us who form part of that volunteerism, there is no information given us until then. I just have to leave our federal. So I want to say in this direction that your team should try to reach the rural areas to carry on some assessment to know what are the hindrances going on in such areas. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I think you've taken note of that. So, what's your response?
I mean, it's just one of the problems that we made mention of, the issue of volunteer teachers around the issue of no low salaries, the issue of lack of supplies or limited supplies, across the school system in the country. So there huge challenges are out there.
Let's see what this is meant for us. Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Your name and where are you calling from?
Yes, I'm Peter Joa calling from Johnsonville.
Let's hear you.
Yes, I listened carefully and I would love for I would like to recommend the students to help in application because I have called government attention to that who is reading the news. People are not being willing to pay attention in government, most especially the Ministry of Education. And the school have been, school report have been the private schools in order to accommodate become working for us, and exploiting us in when it comes to the uniform. So I want to call their attention to please help us in working that direction. Setting uniform of comfort and not quality.
Okay.
And secondly, very expensive where parents to afford it is not easy. And I'm a uniform seller. I wear it. I have my business that you wear it. I know the quality of your uniform. The same club will go to the store and buy the uniform. The only people and the Indian people, and then we show and sell in the market. Sometimes somebody come and pay 1.5 for suit. They are selling it for things that wanted to $25 is the same club.
Wow.
We decided to, I was planning to come to the studio, but for natural strength to come to the studio and address the issue. I need to come to the studio and make it known to people so that more people can partake of the quality of floor, the quality and ensure the direction is good, the quality of floor moving time. I've been selling for 25 to 30 hours. So I'm very just for natural strength to come to the studio, and then for your guests to the studio to have a year for and a half of each. Very wrong, it's 30 hours, it's not even fine for that video.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's a very serious concern.
I think the PTA can look into that. That's part of their role, looking
Are
at
you
all
going to
the
engage with the PTAs in those counties?
oh,
By the way, how many counties are you working? I mean,
6 counties, right? Nima, Bon, Magibi, Lofa, Grand Basso, Monserrate.
okay. So yes, maybe you need to put that before the PTA as a very key issue because you have a lot of school administrators who are using the uniform to raise money. You cannot sell a uniform
Like I
$30
said, the
when
issues are enormous, but we're getting there gradually. So
okay.
we have ADAP, yourself, these are groups that are working on the PTA aspect, they're looking at also policy issues. So we will relay the information to them, and we ourselves will also tracking all of the different issues right in the sector.
Okay, I mean, would like to get your parting comments because we are running out of time. Can you give us parting comments in a minute, 30 seconds or something?
Well, we see this project as a medium through which we can improve the education system in this country, and that is why we have a number of CSOs that are working with us across the 6 counties, and ensuring that there is improved service delivery, there is policy, advocacy around all of the key issues to ensure that we can improve our education system in Liberia, because um, we all know education is a bedrock. And if we as a country cannot do more to improve the education system, this is going to impact our generation. And we don't want the young generation that we have. If we want to have a better tomorrow, we have to prepare right now. And the best way to do that is to empower our people through quality education by improving the system, ensuring access, quality, and provision of the needed services that they need to make sure that the learning environment is conducive. So we call on all stakeholders, and we commend the government on the first step of the 7% agreement.
Thank you very much. We are really edging out of time. So thank you very much. That's the voice of Randy McCoy. Randa is the program lead of our civil society activity project at Cental, and he was here talking about some of the things they're doing. And that's all the time we have for this edition of the program, Integrity Watch. See you next Wednesday. My name is Edward Blambo. Bye-bye.